Hey everybody, it is our 5th installment of the Dungeons & Dragons episode therapy session situation where we demonstrate how Adam Davis and Adam Johns from Game to Grow use Dungeons & Dragons for therapeutic purposes. The idea is that Adam Johns is the dungeon master / therapist utilizing the Game to Grow model, and Adam Davis and Humberto and I are clients, so to speak, and that through Adam Johns' game style and gameplay that we actually get some emotional gratification, emotional regulation, social skill development, self-esteem development, identity exploration, and all that kind of stuff. So today is number 5. People are demanding, Humberto, for the next chapter of The Adventures of Grollo.
Wow!
People
like
love
a solo campaign. It's just
people love Grollo.
Yeah.
Grollo is a lovable brute.
Give us more Grollo.
Welcome to the Psychology in Seattle podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor, and my character is named Thrain, and he's a dwarf cleric, which is like a priest.
My name is Humberto Castañeda, and I don't know about all that stuff that Honda was talking about because I'm just here to have fun and not grow at all. But I play Grollo the Cruel, who's a half-orc, and he's a lovable brute, as we were just saying.
And who are you guys?
My name is Adam Davis. I'm playing Shoosh, a tiefling bard.
And my name is Adam Johns. I am the game master or dungeon master. I'm here to paint the world for all of you.
So, if you are interested in learning more about using Dungeons & Dragons or other games for therapeutic, educational, and parenting uses, you can go to gametogrow.org and learn more. Adam and Adam like to train people, parents, educators, therapists. We're also looking to hire people because we're growing, and we have a wait list of people in the area who are looking to join a group. Also, if you want to support Game to Grow, go to gametogrow.org/support, and you can donate. When you donate, you know that you are actually providing money that goes straight to allowing needy kids to participate in the groups, because the groups, we have to charge for it. We have to stay alive, and one of the ways we stay alive is by charging the parents to have their kids in these groups. And some kids are from families, lo and behold, who we all know can't afford it. And so if you go to gametogrow.org/support, your money will go towards that. So let's get into it. Adam Johns, where do we begin?
So we need to recap our game a little bit, but before we recap the game, I kind of mentioned in the last session, last playthrough, that we would always ask a question to kind of deepen a little bit more our understanding of yourself and your character. And a lot of the times in our groups, these questions are waver back and forth between really deep introspective questions and sometimes light, fluffy questions, because your life is made up of many different aspects. So my question for all of you today about your characters is, what is a favorite food that you really enjoy, and what is a favorite food that your character really enjoys?
Interesting. Does anyone have anything?
I do. When you asked me about my culture, I mentioned about these delicious leap pies. So Grollo really likes leap pies. I don't know if they're pronounced leap pies. I think they're leap pies. But essentially they're ground stuff, probably meats of all sorts. But they're very spicy, very hard for people that are not at least half orc to enjoy, because they have really strong taste. But it reminds Grollo of his youth. And it's like a mixed love-hate thing about his youth. He kind of hates the fact that his father was this cruel orc and stuff, but he also misses some of that culture, and that's one of them.
Yeah,
leap pies.
Is this a common orc culture experience? Is it LEE pies?
LEAPIES.
Leap.
Eyes. Leap pies.
Awesome. That's
maybe it's leapies. Leap pies. I don't know. He might know how to pronounce them. I don't know.
Humberto, do you like spicy food yourself?
I do.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yes.
Just reflecting.
I do. And actually, now that I think about it, I like food that's too spicy, so like I can't really easily share my dishes once I've spiced them up, because if I do, it's like it's like too hard for the average consumer.
Yeah,
so maybe it's a little orcish.
I've prided myself on being able to take spice, and I had a casual dinner with Humberto, and I had the same dish as he did with the same spice level, and I thought it was insanely hot.
He asked me to order at the same level. So what happens is there's this Nepalese restaurant, and they do this amazing 7-bean soup. So good.
There's just 7 beans in it.
7 beans, yeah.
And then very large beans.
It's all water and some. And then you can ask for a spice level. And so, they go from 1 to 5. But I kept going, and so I was kind of a regular. And like one of the dudes that works there, he's like, "Oh, do you really like spicy?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, I can make you a 7. And I was like, all right. So then he started giving me a 7, and 7 is indeed very spicy. So when I was getting food from there, Honda's like, "Get me whatever you're getting." I'm like, "All right, how spicy you want?" It's like, "However spicy you get." I'm like, "Okay." And I kind of described it. It's like, "Yeah, that's fine." So I did, but it is very spicy. It's like, the guy in the kitchen overdoes it. So
we should do, I'm obsessed with hot ones, the YouTube channel.
Oh, those must be ridiculous.
Are you a spicy?
I am the guy of all of my friends that if I order food, nobody can even take a
so
bite
you're
of it.
probably like me. Yeah.
I am. I like spicy food so much.
We should do a little hot ones thing.
I think we totally.
Oh, we should do a hot ones D&D.
We could do like every time you can like re-roll, but you got to eat one of these hot wings.
I think we should make that a fundraiser for Game to Grow.
Yeah.
I need a vegan option for my wings, but
you just eat like a
tofu.
Hot
They do
tofu.
cauliflower.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great.
Or
Cauliflower,
tofu, chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, so that's mine. Leap pies.
Awesome. That's spectacular.
I was gonna do spicy for my character too, for Shoosh and for me, but now I have to.
I should clarify one thing, because in our human reality, when I say, "Oh, I like it really spicy," but it still tastes good, This is the kind of spices like orc spices. So it's not like, "Oh, this is hot." No, it's like, this tastes like shit.
It's like literally just a bunch of grass and
earthy, very earthy
dirt,
and also I'm
spice.
sure spicy. Like it's all of the above.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. Adam, you can answer the same.
I think I will because I'm a tiefling.
This is great because Adam, are you just discovering this now about Humberto?
Yes.
And Humberto's just discovering this about
our
Adam.
Characters might have some.
Your characters might have like an opportunity to discover this about each other that they've never realized that they share this opportunity for connection. So I think that works very well on a very human character level.
Shoosh, I think this like childhood like performer in him, he was like the guy who wanted to impress everybody else by eating really spicy food.
Oh.
So nobody in his culture really encouraged him to eat spicy food. He was like that kid on the playground who was like, "Hey guys, want to see me do something stupid? Watch me eat this pepper." And then he sort of built up a tolerance for it that way.
Plus, he has like hell.
Resistance to fire. So it's sort of like a little bit of a. It's not really as spicy to him.
I love it. We're gonna have to have a scene around this.
What about your favorite food?
My favorite food is hot wings.
Nice.
One of my favorite foods is hot wings. I have a lot of favorite foods, but one of my favorite things to do is to get hot wings of different flavors and then like alternate between them.
Right.
I don't ever get less than 3 flavors of hot wings because I like to go down the line and have them in the right order.
Like honey and
Jamaican jerk is one of my favorite flavors.
Yeah, that's a good.
And then a classic buffalo, and then something else. Like so my wife for my birthday gave me a subscription to Fuego Box, which is a monthly hot sauce, and one of them was a peach hot sauce that I made. I ordered wings delivery, but I got them without sauce so that I could put them in my own sauce to make those the third one in my trio of hot sauces.
All right. Birthday ideas for me. Anyone out there wants to buy me a Fuego subscription? Love it.
Where is your favorite place to get wings in Seattle?
I just discovered a new delivery place that is my new favorite. I used to like Wing Masters in Ballard, but then they were bought out and they're not as good anymore.
Oh.
So there's really a big hole in my heart. That's
What about Wingdome? Are you a Wingdome fan?
I have not been. I've only been there once or twice back when we used to run groups in that area, and I would go there. I think Adam and I would go to a place called Atlantic Crossing, and we would get some stupidly hot wings there.
They actually have really delicious wings.
They're in Roosevelt, right?
Yeah. They also have really good Scotch eggs. which is like really hard to find.
Scotch egg.
What is a Scotch egg?
It's like a breaded, fried, mashed up sort of ground beef around a poached egg.
Oh.
And when you do them right, the yolk of the egg is runny, so you like cut them open, and then you've got this like super delicious breaded fried thing with egg yolk and stuff. It's really really spectacular.
Sounds.
You're not yoking.
Yeah.
I'm not. I would never yoke about Scotch.
Yeah, makes sense. What about Thrain?
What about Thrain? For Thrain, he's pious, so he's got to go with something not very flashy.
Lembas.
Dwarves are
plain crackers.
Dwarves are not known for their culinary. That's an elf thing, and so I'm just thinking mutton. Just
mutton.
Because he grew up in a town where there's a lot of farmers and a lot of sheep.
Right.
And so
he likes braised mutton.
Just a braised,
boiled mutton.
Yeah.
I picture him as somebody who would eat salted cod.
Sure, there was a river nearby, so for sure, salted cod. Just plain, just plain food, nothing decadent. Now Kirk is completely different from that. Although I like mutton, but I would say, keeping with the lamb theme, I recently had a very delicious lamb burger with tater tots.
Oh.
I cannot tell you how much I like tater tots, especially that first one when they're really crispy, not when they're soggy.
No.
They have to be
crispy and then soft on the inside.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And just that first, I like to eat half the tater tot, just kind of like get half of it. And it is an exquisite experience.
I concur.
I had just goosebumps when you were talking about.
I know.
About how good those.
Can we do a podcast of just you just describing delicious foods? Is that this podcast brought to you by whatever the closest eatery is to you?
And we can add a little ASMR to the mix.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm describing the tater tots.
Delicious, crispy outside.
Interesting to note that we all sort of had connections between our favorite foods and our characters' favorite foods.
Right. Yeah. That is very automatic for the people.
I did not know you were a spicy food guy. I wouldn't have thought that. But now that you say that, it kind of makes sense. Yeah. I think you have a secret wild side because you've told a lot of things that I've been like, wait, there's a whole other Adam behind this.
I did used to be an actor.
His professional,
so who's
veil.
the real Adam?
Yeah.
This is actually his stunt double we're working with right now.
Oh,
but he's very convincing.
He is.
It's a Scooby-Doo episode.
Well, I'm just curious, Adam Johns, what is your favorite food? You got to.
Oh, sure. I didn't even think about it. I didn't think I was going to answer. I think my favorite food is steak. I think I really like a steak that's very, very cooked just right and really not seasoned, not overly seasoned.
I'm vetoing this, Adam. Your favorite food is soup.
That's totally true. Steak with a side of soup. Have a little soup on the side.
Adam puts soup into all of our campaigns with the kids, and the kids have a running joke where they're like, "Is there going to be more soup in this campaign?"
There's a lot of soup in our campaigns.
Wasn't there soup in this campaign?
Has there been soup in this?
Or am I
campaign?
thinking of? I thought there was a soup that we had. At
share
some
a
point.
soup.
Or am I thinking of
we
one
should
of
share
anyway.
a soup, and you need to make it spicy as a joke to me, but then I end up liking it. We'll have to have a scene like that.
So when I think of steak in Seattle, I think of Daniel's and I think of Ruth Chris. Have you been to either one?
I've never been to either one. There's a Jack's steak place down in West Seattle that's really spectacular. Okay. And then the best steak I've ever had in my entire life is in Montana. What was the name of that place, Adam?
Land of Magic.
Called the Land of Magic.
What?
And it's hands down by a huge margin the best steak I've ever had.
Wow. Probably straight from the source.
Straight from the cow.
The cow right
they
there.
Could point outside.
That's his brother. That's the cow.
It's missing part of it.
They just cut out that part and then they have it. That's so gross. That's the grossest thing I just imagined there. Soup is definitely very high up on my list as well. And I do work it into a lot of stuff. I actually have a whole theory about how soup can fill every food group. You can have you can have a soup for every meal. Cereal is just breakfast soup. Oatmeal is just breakfast chili. Okay. So you can totally. Sure. I used to dream about opening a soup restaurant where everything was soup. You could not order anything that was not some kind of soup.
Soup Nazi.
That was all of this, all the soups available.
Soup is one of those things that I rarely crave, but when I'm having it, I think this is really good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
like a good
soup
tortilla soup.
Oh, good tortilla soup.
Yeah.
Colombia is replete with soups.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite dishes there is sopa de ñame. Mote de ñame. And it's essentially this like bowl with ñame is like this yuca-like root. It's very fibrous and stuff. A little bit sweet tasting, but mostly no flavor. And so it creates this nice little base of stuff. And then they add this cheese, this special kind of cheese in cubes, and then some lime and onions, white onions. Oh my God,
this sounds like the best thing in the world.
Good. It's so good. It's so filling. It's ridiculous.
Slow down, make it more sensual.
So go ahead and pause your podcast now, get some food.
Yeah.
Now that we're all hungry.
Now that we're all super, super hungry. You can hear our tummies gurgle as we go through this. So what's great about all of the answers that you guys give is that it gives an opportunity to reflect on how similar or dissimilar you are to your character. So this is just always a good practice of thinking about what's the same between me and my character and what's different between me and my character. And those can mean all sorts of different things, but it's good to go back and have that reflection period and then figure out for yourself, is there a meaning there? Is there a purpose to that? Thinking about like, is it important that Grollo also have a history of spicy food and a culture of spicy food? Does that help you connect more with your character? Or is that pulled from your experience for a reason? Or is it important that Thrain not enjoy decadent foods?
Right.
Because that has to be an important part that makes up his character.
Yeah, and it is a part of me. I mean, I don't think I've ever actually lived that credo, but the notion of simplicity or not, indulging oneself or something is a streak that I have, you know what I mean?
Right.
So That's interesting to have done that exercise, and now that's more conscious for me as I interact with this character,
Perfect. So with that, who wants to do our recap from our previous
I always do the
games?
recap. I'll do it again.
You're good at it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we traveled to Pahija, which is a major city of industry and trade and cosmopolitan, to investigate this Grumpsh situation, which is the god of orcs, a chaotic, evil, horrible god. And we traveled here because there was a number of clues that led us to this town. And when we entered town, we discovered that Grumpsh, the evil god, had somehow tricked all the people into believing that Grumpsh was actually a good god, and had also convinced all the townspeople that my god, Moradin, is an evil god. And so all the Moradin churches had been boarded up except for one, and all these Grumpsh temples had cropped up, even though normally the Grumpsh temple would have to go underground in such a city, or maybe not even be involved at all, because orcs tend to be far flung from cities, and that kind of thing. So everything was very upside down. People loved Grollo because he's half orc. People hated me because I'm dwarf, and particularly because I have a symbol of Moradin. We have thoughts that we had thoughts that maybe somehow they used trickery or brain control to change people's minds, but there's not a lot of evidence of that. We did find evidence of sacrifices.
Yeah, the blood
that are maybe secretly happening at night that they're cleaning up. We managed to get to the guy who hired Nicholas, who is with us, and
he was dead.
He hired Nicholas to get the box that was in a Grumpsh box that was in this other town. And so we went to this guy, and who was a pawnbroker. We went to his pawn shop. we were going to ask him like who hired you, or why did you hire these band of people to find this Scrooge box, because there seemed to be a lot of clues here. Walked into the pawnbroker place and the guy was dead, and then we turned around and we heard the authorities arriving and surrounding the building.
It's a trap!
And now we are realizing that we might be implicated in the death of this pawnbroker, and things aren't looking good because I'm a Moradin worshiper, and so I'm not probably not going to get a very fair trial if things come to such a situation. So, did I leave anything out?
I think that's pretty much it.
So you said everybody loved Grollo and didn't like Thrain. You forgot to mention how much everybody loved Shoosh. There were people just, racing after him.
Widely celebrated
for his good looks and charm.
You
remember that part of the game?
Right.
Last session? I remember that.
Wait.
Everybody loved Shoosh.
You know what I do remember is I remember us theorizing how we could use those booths of truth.
The truth booth.
The truth booth.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And then
Like
we
the-
never made it to Pagfarth, the School of Magic.
There is Pagfarth, the School of Magic, named after its founder, Sir Reginald Pagfarth.
Sir Reginald Pagfarth.
In some dialects, it's pronounced Pagfart.
It's true. It's true. Really depends on do you come from the north or the south?
Right.
Really.
It just there's different dialects.
Tell us,
Yeah.
what incentivized you to go into magic as a child? Do you really have to ask?
I wanted to be powerful. I was tired of them calling me Pegfart.
So I think that's a great recap. So we join your characters once again in this very dark, barely lit pawn shop, standing over the body of Roppy, who was the pawn shop owner. And the person who hired Nicholas. And there are apparently guards out the front of the pawn shop who are calling you out and calling for you to drop your weapons and come out with your hands up, with the expectation that you have been the ones who have killed this pawn shop owner. So my question for all of you, what do you do?
I mean, I don't think Grollo would think of this, but someone should probably think of whether or not there's a secret exit or some undetected exit we could take.
Well, do you role play that? Because you might want to ask him to look, and maybe Nicholas.
Grollo wouldn't do that though. Grollo would be like, "Okay, here we go. Okay, hey, that sounds like they're threatening us."
I will distract them while someone figures out a different way out of this.
I think I should distract them. You shouldn't go out there. You look like someone they might want to kill.
Yeah, Thrain, they don't like you here. Maybe I should talk to them.
I think you should look innocent.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't done anything, so I look the way I look.
Perfect.
I
Okay.
could go to prison and you could bust me out later.
Everybody roll perception checks.
12.
11.
11.
I'll say 11's not going to quite do it, but I think 12 can. Thrain, you can see that Nicholas is white as a sheet, and he looks just terrified by the idea of getting caught by the guards. And you can see him like sort of trying to step back and sort of a scared way where he's like stepping away from the body and trying to find an exit out of this place.
Nicholas, why are you so afraid? The law people, they usually are fair and they will listen to us. Why are you so afraid?
Well, I don't know what towns you come from, but oh man, I'm going to lose the Nicholas Gerard accent here. What towns you come from, but here there's the guards are maybe not always so friendly, and they're definitely not going to be friendly to all of us. This does not look good from our perspective or from theirs.
Well, what about me? I've done nothing wrong. They like me. I can just talk this. I'm good at talking to people.
Nicholas has like a long pause and then says, all right, if no one else is going to say it, look, I don't know that you can talk your way out of this kind of situation. What does it look like from them? We're standing here literally over the body of a somebody who is a parishioner of the Church of Grumsh, like, this does not look good.
But we
You're
didn't
wearing
kill him.
Moradin symbols all over you. And people have seen us around town. They know that we came in just today.
But they should know we didn't kill him.
How would they know that?
Well, we didn't kill him.
Sure.
Grumsh has probably overtaken their minds. We cannot trust them. They could be influenced by evil. Too much is uncertain, and I just start looking for a wall to like break down with my hammer.
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
18.
That's a good check. All right. Yeah. You guys are not in a very nice part of town. The building here is basically butted up against a lot of other buildings that are all right next door to them. There is probably a back door out of this place that leads to a back alley. There also probably the walls are not super well reinforced. If you wanted to, with the right checks in the right spot, you might be able to bust your way through one of the walls and into the building next to you.
Okay. Does anyone else have a better idea?
I think that's a great idea. I want to use minor illusion to make a sound outside that'll distract them for long enough for us to get out.
And then I cast silence right where we're gonna bust through the wall.
So you don't think I should walk outside?
No, stick with us.
All right.
You should make sure you stand in the silence.
Okay.
Nicholas can't really do much to help in this circumstance, but he'll like kind of keep an eye out the front door.
But he looks bitchin' in the Guar outfit.
He does look super good. He's still wearing his Guar outfit.
Sort of like a murderer, though.
Yeah, it does kind of look like a little bit of a murderer.
A little bit too death metal, maybe.
Oh no.
I want to make my minor illusion going to be a sound outside on the other side of them that says, I killed him, see? I killed him and you'll never catch me. I'm going to run this other direction.
Like, here I am running away from the scene of the crime.
Yeah. Running down Main Street. Look at me go.
Awesome.
You dirty rat.
Why don't you roll me a
You'll never
deception
catch me,
check?
coppers.
Shoosh, and who's busting through the wall? You cast silence.
And then I
are you
start-
also the one
I
hammering
hammer
through the
them.
wall?
You want me to help? I'll help you.
Okay.
Okay, both of you roll me strength checks. The silence doesn't really require a check. You just sort of make silence happen, which is, I imagine, kind of like a strange sudden image, like just dead silence as you're like hammering your way into this wall. So 19 from you, and then
13.
13. Okay, those are pretty good.
24 on my deception check.
Ooh.
So it turns out there's no way for Shoosh
All the
to know
guards are from the
this.
20s.
All the guards are from the... We're going to come in there and we're going to bust you, see? Actually, it turns out that the voice that you did for this sinister figure is a common thief who the guards have been chasing after for years. And they know him only by his voice, that he always shouts stuff as he's on his way out, but he's a cat burglar, so they've never been able to catch him. So it's just by coincidence.
Man, boys in blue never got me.
Called the Mustache.
The
is his name.
mustachio.
I'm gonna write that down. You make the sounds of this voice coming from across the street, and Nicholas kind of motions for you guys to like keep going, like it's working. The silence is a big enough area, unless you purposefully wanted to avoid it. It's a big enough area to basically encompass all of you, so you also can't talk to each other.
Right.
But it's plenty of time for the two Thrain and Grollo to start just hammering away at this wall. The walls are made out of like mostly kind of soft plaster with some reinforcement in the middle of them. But it comes down pretty quick with the two of you hammering away at it. And very shortly, you have hammered your way into the place next door. The place next door is a house. It is owned by a small halfling woman who is very old. She has a lot of tea cozies and cats that are kind of around in the house and decorations. As you bust through the wall, you
Silently, by the way.
silently, perfectly silently, with no noise whatsoever, you knock over her china cabinet, which comes collapsing to the ground, also perfectly silently.
Oh, no.
And you can see that she is sitting in a chair facing away from you, petting one of her cats. Some of the cats have totally freaked out. that you've busted through this wall, but
By the way, I'm
are running away.
If you looked at my face right now, I'm kind of like yelling something to Thrain.
I hope it's oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can't quite make it out. I'm just like I'm yelling.
Do we see a back door that is behind her where she's, or a way out that is not that she's looking at?
There is a way out that is it is not behind her. It's not. It's actually in the direction that she's looking. So you may need to distract her or do something to keep her attention away.
Oh, so there's not a way out that she can't see.
No, she's sort of. You're coming in like in the back of her living room, and the way outs are the direction she's facing.
Okay.
You are still perfectly silent, though.
Right. So I hand signal to.
I would say you can't hear anything in the silence either. So you can see that she's talking to some of the cats that have like gone scurrying away from you. Yeah. In this, and she's like gesturing towards them and like seeming to try to calm them down, but she hasn't gotten up from her chair yet.
I cast Thaumaturgy, which is an action that doesn't require any, or it requires verbal. Does that mean I can't cast it in silence?
That means that you cannot cast it in silence.
Okay. Never mind.
You can step out of the silence and cast it, but then
she
you
would hear me.
say something.
She would hear me, right?
Yeah.
I signal like help.
Adam, just you have to describe it. Adam, we're on an audio medium.
I was dragging my thumb across my neck, like, should we take her out? Of course, I was joking. We're not gonna take this lady out. I might choke her out, though.
Yeah. Can I surmise that if we go out one of the exits that we see, that the guards may not actually have visual fields of that?
Yeah, you're only a house down, but it's far enough away that you think you can probably, especially if you go out the back exit, that you will probably be avoiding a lot of the guards. It'll be sort of an alleyway down, and you can probably avoid them from that position.
I think I'm going to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on this old lady.
You could also, just to point out, you can totally do that. Does that require a verbal component?
Yes, but I would step out.
Okay. You can also go out the front, so long as you don't look like yourselves. Is another option, because basically they know what building you're in,
right.
But if you go out a different entrance, they won't think it's you if you look like somebody else.
I think we would do better if we went out the door they can't see. Okay, so that's what you do?
I'll cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
All right. She is an old lady. She's not going to have a lot on her save. I'm going to have her roll with disadvantage.
Save is 13.
Oh, yeah, she failed both. Awesome. So what joke do you tell with
I'm
your...
just going to say,
or what
I'm
do you
just going
say
to
with
peekaboo.
your...
It's classic. Just a jump scare.
You just jump out and peekaboo her.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. You leap out and you say peekaboo, and the two of you can't hear this. You're still in the silence, but you like watch as Shoosh like leaps out of the silence area, and then the woman in the chair just starts laughing like crazy. And I don't mean that she's laughing like a tremendous amount. She is laughing in a way that is really disturbing.
Would you call it hideous?
It's kind of horrific, actually. She's like laughing, and she's like clutching her chest, and she is like slapping the armchair of the flowery sofa she's sitting on.
I'll motion my finger like, well, let's get out of here quick.
Okay. I take out 15 gold and just put it on the table next to
Of course, an apology.
Refill the cat's water bowl.
As you leave the silenced area, you hear two things. The first is you hear the hideous laughter of this woman, which Shoosh you could hear ahead of time. But you can also hear the countdown of the guards from the outside of the building.
Can they hear me now, by the way?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So you should know I'm holding a cat, and I'm saying, "I'm hungry, Thrain."
Drop the cat. We'll get some food later.
Fine.
So,
Plus, do you see any spices?
You can hear the guard sort of shouting, and you can see he's speaking into like a stone. From here, you can just make out through sort of like curtains and blinds. Nobody seems to be looking in your direction, but he is speaking into a stone that seems to be making his voice much louder. And he is saying, 2, 1. All right, then we're coming in. And you can kind of hear like he clearly was trying to get you to come out from while you guys were all in the silence area.
We bolt.
Quickly as we
Awesome.
can.
Everybody, roll me stealth checks. You can do so with advantage because you're in a situation where you're clearly
16 stealth.
doing really well. Okay,
Modified 20.
and Nicholas did just fine.
14.
Oh, awesome. Those are great rolls. The four of you kind of bolt through the alleyway, and it travel a long distance down, and it takes you a little while. We'll say 5 minutes. The force of guards probably make their way into the building and quickly realize that you've escaped down this other route. But it's well after you've cleared away from that area. The city is dense enough that once you clear out of the alleyway, you wind up in denser populated streets and can kind of mingle into other places. But the question is, where do you go from here? You're now at least wanted from the guards, and even if they don't know what you look like, there's a really solid chance that they will be able to figure that out by talking to other people about it.
All right.
It's not like nobody saw you come into the pawn shop in the first place.
Can we get some food?
Yes.
I'm really hungry.
All right. So, is there a market nearby with food?
Yeah, I'll say you guys are. It's getting towards the afternoon. I think it was maybe early evening when we had described it before. So the market is still open, and you can totally like get into. There's a market in this part of the town that you can go to, and they have lots of people selling cooked foods and things like that right on the street.
Okay.
Do they have fabric
Yeah.
at the market?
Yeah.
Do they sell clothes at the market?
Yeah, there is a tailor at the market.
Great.
That,
I don't know if we have time to get something custom tailored, though that is tempting. I think I just need like a shawl or something to look different, like a poncho
something
or
to act as a disguise.
Zarape.
For quickness sake, get 4 large cloaks or whatever, and then we will get the food, and we will meet you over there by the alley behind the garbage, situation.
Can we climb on the rooftops? Are there like any way to get to the rooftops?
Yeah, the city's dense enough that the buildings are built up quite a bit, so they're usually 3 or 4 stories high for the smaller buildings. But you can climb up there.
Do they have like
might take some
drain
effort.
pipes or something to climb up?
They have drain pipes. A few of them have like balconies and things like that you can use and hop onto. It's not super easy to do, but it's totally possible for you to climb up onto the roofs of the buildings.
Okay, we can do that.
Cool. I think we should meet in the alleyway, but then we'll
Okay.
to the roofs.
Okay. What street food do Thrain and Grollo acquire?
So, first off, I say, Thrain, I think we should have fought those guards. We didn't do nothing wrong.
We didn't do anything wrong, but understand that this town is under the spell of Grumpsh, and we cannot predict anything about them. In fact, I would suspect that they would have found anything they could have to trump up charges against us and actually execute us, potentially.
My mall is feeling a little disappointed. Fine. Let's find some food.
There will be a head for your mall, I'm sure, in the near future. I can feel it in my bones.
Thrain, do you know what I smell?
What do you smell? Cooked cat?
No, better.
Spicy cooked cat?
Leap pies.
Oh.
I think they must have leap pies here because of all the orc love.
Oh.
And
Follow
that
your
is-
nose.
That is accurate. In fact, you find a sort of gruff-looking younger woman who is a half-orc, who is making pies in like a little cart right off the side of the market. And there's a bunch of signs that it's just pictures of people's mouths that are open with fire coming out of their mouths. And as you walk up, and she kind of turns to you and she says, You're not gonna try to eat the pies, are you? If you're eating the pies, I want you to be prepared for the pies.
I love lead pies.
You love lead pies?
Yes.
Well, you've never had my lead pies.
Oh, well, I can't wait. What is your name?
My name is.
What
Let's
pretty
see.
one?
Let's name her. Humberto, why don't you give me the first one?
I'm very nervous in front of her. Let's see. Oh, first letter?
Yeah.
Okay, C.
R.
U.
T.
T.
Y.
Crutty?
Cruddy.
But her pies aren't.
She says, this is Cruddy's Pies. You can call me Cruddy.
Hi, Cruddy. My name is Grollo.
I start going, Grollo and Cruddy.
Shut up, Thrain. Don't listen to him.
What is your friend saying?
My friend?
I'm looking for mutton. Is there any mutton nearby?
I can make you a pie with mutton.
Okay, without any of the Lee pie ingredients, just a mutton pie.
She kind of looks at you really strange, and she was in the middle of like literally pulling a goat up from behind her counter. She's like, no.
How about just leg of goat?
Done. She pulls out like a huge hatchet, and you watch as she just cuts a leg off the goat. She kills the goat right in front of you, and then cuts a leg off the goat, and then expertly kind of dresses it and starts getting everything together. And she has like a little pot that is boiling ingredients to go in the pies. And she's like, "You just want goat?"
2 large Lee pies and 2 leg of goat.
We need something mild for Shoosh. She probably wants some mild food.
Do we know out of character? We don't know.
I don't think you do unless
We don't know what he likes,
Shoosh
so
had
I'm
talked
assuming-
about it on the
Okay,
boat.
so 1 Lee pie, 3 legs of goat, and whatever soup that is that I see there.
If you get another leg of goat, it's the whole goat. They have 4 legs. That's how many legs are on a goat.
So basically, you're saying 4 for the price of 3?
No.
Oh,
I want 3 lead pies, by the way.
Why would I give you a free leg of the goat?
I want 3 lead pies because I feel like I could eat 2 right now, and I'm definitely going to have another one later.
All right. Do you want the human lead pies?
Yeah, no, I want the orc lead pies.
She puts her hands down on the counter and she leans in close to you and she says, "Are you sure you want the orc lead pies?"
I am positive.
She shrugs and she says, "All right, your funeral." And you see her adding a bunch of ingredients, and she before long has a couple of pies
Wow,
all
Cruddy.
set and ready for you.
You're such a great cook.
She says, "Do you mean that as an insult?"
I don't think
That
so.
sounded sarcastic.
No. You look like a great cook.
Oh, so now I look like a cook.
I mean, look, do you come here often?
I'm here all the time. You're trying to say that I don't do this often enough for you?
I think
Ha! What an insult! Ridiculous.
I'm-
Some people are totally unwilling to be a part of this. At least this gentleman over here is going to appreciate my totally bland and barely cooked goat legs.
Thrain, help me here. What do I say?
they like compliments.
I hear you like compliments.
What? now you think that you're just gonna sweet talk me into some kind of discount? No deal, mister. I'm charging you for 4 pies.
I will gladly pay for the pies. I just want to tell you you're doing a great job.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Why don't you lead me a good review on the Yeller over there?
I will. I just don't. I'm very happy to be your customer.
Huh, I'm sure.
This isn't going so well.
It appears that you have been defeated.
she hands over the pies and the goat leg shanks, and she charges you up for them. It's we'll say 5 gold in total for all of that.
Okay.
Your eyes are very real.
Your eyes seem really fake. How about that?
they're my real eyes.
Wow. Well, who would even know? You probably stole them from someone.
I did not steal them. Why do you accuse me of these things?
How do I know that? You seem like you might be a thievy sort.
No, we are rarely thieves.
Yeah. I'm sure. A likely story.
I just meant that your eyes go well with your hair.
Oh, so now my eyes should be in my hair. What kind of grotesque creature would that be?
Thrain, let's go.
Thank you. Come back again. She rolls her eyes and gets back to cooking as you head out.
Hey, Grollo, I think she liked you.
Are you sure?
From when I've seen you flirt with other women half orcs before, I would say that went better than I've ever seen it.
Better than the usual.
Okay, I did send some sparks. I think after weed I may come back unless the guards are around.
Yeah.
Shoosh, are you going with Nicholas as well, or was Nicholas in the other interaction? I'm not sure he would have said anything there anyway. So.
I need to get something for him also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go and find just someone selling cloth is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I was literally going to get some cloth and then cut a hole in the middle of it and wear it like a poncho.
Yeah.
You come into a it's actually like a little shop right off the side of the market. And it is a tailor shop, but they clearly sell bolts of cloth and other materials for making clothes. And there's we'll say a sort of a portly older gentleman who greets you as you come in, and he says, I'm gonna say he's you know what? He's also a tiefling. And he says, welcome. What can I get for you?
I'm looking for some ponchos.
A poncho.
Yes, something.
That's an odd fashion.
Something discreet.
We don't get a lot of ponchos coming in.
Some discreet ponchos
for ponchos.
Yes. Something to blend in.
What size poncho are you?
One size fits all.
That's, I think ponchos I don't sell enough ponchos to know what their sizing sizing scheme is.
I need a poncho that's how tall is Grollo? You like
I would say very tall. Yeah.
Then I would say I need a poncho that's like I suppose I need roughly 10 feet of fabric long for a poncho.
Oh, that's
my
quite
friend.
A big poncho.
And then a few ponchos about half that size.
All right, very well. Would you like this nice? I have a wonderful satin fabric. Are you planning on making this yourself, or would you like it custom tailored?
I'd like you to just give me a big rectangular piece of fabric with a hole in the middle.
I never. So that is against my code, sir. Unless it is, of course, an additional price for,
I will
for that kind of
yes.
That kind of poor treatment of my wonderful fabrics.
You may charge me for cutting the hole in the middle of all of the ponchos.
He kind of rolls his eyes at you, and he clearly thinks a little less of you for your taste in fashion.
I want something that'll withstand the weather.
Huh? A tarp, then?
something like that's good in sun, good in rain. I want a rain jacket, I think.
He scoffs, and he's clearly like not afraid to say what he thinks of all of this. And Nicholas kind of leans in close to you, and he says, "Listen, I think we may need to find some other people to help us with this."
I think if I could cut a hole in the fabric.
No, I don't mean
do that.
This
I want to pay
this
that
guy.
much
I'm saying we might need to contact some other people to help us deal with this god situation.
All right. Are you saying we shouldn't buy ponchos?
No, I think the ponchos are a good idea. Plus, I could use something to keep the rain off of me when it's really coming down. They said it was going to rain tomorrow.
All right. Well, I think we should buy these ponchos and meet back in the alley.
Right.
I hear they're getting some food.
The tailor selling the material has cut some general square bolts of cloth.
I said rectangle.
Yes.
Excuse me.
He rolls his eyes again, and he does take out a measuring tape and he measures at least the two of you, but he seems half-hearted in his measuring attempts. He cuts you the cloth, and he's probably overcharging you, but he charges you 3 gold for the lot. And he sort of ushers you out of his shop as he doesn't want anybody seeing.
I give him an extra gold for a tip, and I say, "We were never here."
He says, "Huh, you're right. You weren't." As the 4 of you all meet up in the alleyway, you find a good opportunity for being able to climb up the side of this building. This particular building that you found has a couple of balconies, and it has a rain pipe that you can probably shimmy up. Plus, it's only 3 stories high, so it's a good opportunity to sort of get out of the way. Everybody, roll me perception checks again.
A quick question: how much did I pay for the food?
I paid for it.
You paid for it.
Did you?
Okay.
Okay.
13.
I also got a 13.
Before we resolve this, let's take a break. What do you say?
Perfect.
All right, we're back from the break. Again, this is a demonstration of Dungeons & Dragons Therapy by GameToGrow.org. Go to GameToGrow.org to learn more. We are coming close to selling an actual product where you can actually buy called Critical Core. It's a box set, if you will, with Dungeons & Dragons rules that are adapted to the situation and a guide for how to use Dungeons & Dragons in a therapeutic education or parental setting, if you will. The adventures are made by Adam and Adam perfectly to make it a useful yet fun activity in the way that Adam is doing it right now. Because if you just go to play Dungeons & Dragons as it is, you don't necessarily know how to make it helpful for people. And so Critical Core is a product that guides you in that, and also just going to GameToGrow.org and learning more about there. And you can also hire Adam and Adam as consultants to teach you how to do this sort of thing, and at whatever capacity you can afford or that you're interested in. Any elaboration on that, Adam?
No, that was all great.
So what did we perceive? I got a 13.
So while you were all walking around the market, you could see that there were clearly guards that were kind of walking around and talking to a lot of people. You can see that they've definitely fanned out, and they're looking for, at the very least, some people who are suspicious. A couple of the guards pass by, actually Grollo and Thrain while you're kind of walking away, and they don't seem to notice you any more than anybody else. So it's clear they haven't gotten a description of what you look like just yet. But they're definitely questioning people, and you can hear them having a conversation with somebody saying like, you see anybody suspicious around here? And the person going like, everybody is suspicious. That doesn't mean anything. So clearly like they haven't caught up to you yet. But as you get into the alleyway, you have got your ponchos. The 3 of you, go ahead and roll me athletics checks. Everybody's going to be successful here, but it's just a question of how clumsily or gracefully you climb up the
25
thing.
19.
Can I do acrobatics instead?
I'll let you do acrobatics.
9.
Okay.
25.
Those are spectacular. Nicholas rolled a natural 20.
Why didn't you tell us you could do that?
Nicholas does like some backflips. Did you also do a natural 20?
Wow.
Nicholas and Grollo
For a
both,
role none of us needed.
right? Both are just incredibly athletic and dexterous and strong climbing up this pipe. Nicholas doesn't even use the pipe. He just hops from balcony to balcony. Grollo, what ridiculous way do you climb up this thing? With
So I do this thing where I grab my my maul, and I grab the handle and I stick it into the wall, and I grab with both arms, pull myself up, and unstick it and stick it in again, and then pull myself up in this
Amazing. Yeah. It is the strangest way to climb you have ever seen, and it works amazingly well. Grollo pulls it off.
So there's like a hole.
There's like
in the
several
wall.
holes in the wall going up the side.
Yeah, smash cut to someone sitting there having their porridge, and this pole comes through the wall. They look up and they're like, "Huh?"
You can hear somebody shout from within the house. I'm not even being that loud. It's just loud porridge. You climb your way up to the top of the thing. Thrain, you make your way up pretty reasonably well. Also, you're do a pretty good job shimmying up this drain pipe. Shoosh, you.
I think I was so impressed by Nick that I'm trying to do like a jump across from one side to the other.
It's not
holding on.
It's not nearly as graceful. 3 stories is really high.
Coming.
Eventually, all 4 of you make your way to the top of this building. From here, you can see the market. You can also see that the sun has gone down and the lights are being lit up in the streets below. And you can hear the hustle and bustle of the crowds. But up here, you're just a little bit away from all of it. Finally having like a little bit of opportunity to relax and maybe gather your thoughts and things.
We never clarified this, but I think Shoosh would probably pick the worst fabric colors for our for our podcast.
I was gonna ask. What
I think they're like tablecloths, like red and white plaid checkerboard tablecloths.
like they're
Like they're not good for
Blending
hiding. They're like I had this aspiration that we're all like in a rock band. So I want to like have cool uniforms for us to be wearing. So they're all the same color and they're all like red and white.
You all
checkerboard.
look like you're wearing.
We're the Belle Biv DeVoe of
Yes.
Bahia.
Nicholas kind of gives you.
I got us all discreet costumes, you guys. No one will know who we are.
Brilliant.
I like it.
It's got a hole in the middle. I got an extra big one for you.
We got some food for you.
All right.
Here's a leg of goat.
Shoosh is sort of looking over at this other.
It's boiled and unflavored.
Looking over at the clearly not boiled, flavorless goat that.
Meanwhile, I'm
Grollo
eating
is
a
eating.
leap pie.
Nicholas is eating some of the goat, by the way.
We never got him any food.
Yeah. I mean, you got like 3 goat legs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't know what you'd
They're
like.
big.
We just got you the something bland, you know.
Oh, all right.
Grollo, I want you to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
I think Cruddy maybe was.
7.
So with a 7, Cruddy was not lying. These pies are very, very spicy. Grollo, you've got like snot running out of your nose and like tears coming out. And as you cough, everybody else is getting like pepper sprayed by your breath just coming off of this pie, and it's making everybody else's eyes
These are
tear up
delicious. She
from
wasn't
the
kidding.
experience. Yeah, they're also frankly they're way better flavored than what you're used to. They're clearly made with like actual food ingredients and not just like dirty
Whatever
grass.
they found, yeah.
And bark. It is. I don't know if it's better. It's not the same. It's like if you like get a Philly cheesesteak outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
And you're like, well, this is good, but it's not a Philly cheesesteak. So it's a little bit of that kind of experience. It's still good, but it's not the same as like a home leap pie.
Well, they don't remind me of home, but it's great still. She's awesome.
Nicholas is crying and he's moved away from you to get some distance from the leap pie experience.
I think Shoosh is eating the goat, kind of just like looking over longingly. Oh,
Shush, you don't want any of this.
I don't want to be ungrateful. I like this goat.
I got an extra one. Do you want to try?
I would.
I warn you, it's really not as spicy as I'm used to.
I'll try the leap pie.
Give me a Constitution saving throw with disadvantage.
Oh, my first roll was a natural 20. No, that's a 6.
I'll
You
give you-
rolled a
I'll give you
20 and then.
and then a
disadvantage.
Oh man,
I got a 6, but
The reason that I gave you
you have
disadvantage.
more snot coming out.
There's an ingredient in the leap pies that's aimed at the constitution of orcs. But actually, you know what? You're a tiefling, right?
Would this
I'll
affect
take
it?
away the disadvantage, specifically because this is about heat
Fire.
and fire. And I'll say that your tiefling background really helps you to settle some of the fire.
I would like one solitary tear to go down my cheek.
As you're eating it, it's almost like a contest between the two of you. As you're each eating these pies and like daring the other one to like wipe a nose or wipe a tear. Or
You got tears on your face.
It's delicious. It's so savory. The flavors are so complex.
I didn't know you liked this kind of food.
I do. I've never had a leap pie before.
I grew up with leap pies. These are a
Is
little
this-
different, but they're still leap pies.
Just what's in it?
Well, I never bothered to ask, but it's like meat stuff and spice stuff. And
Look like dirt, maybe.
Seems like picking a piece of dirt out of his mouth, out of his teeth.
she you watched her like reach down on the ground and pick up some dirt from the ground.
That's the
and,
terroir.
like, sprinkle it on top of the pie as the final dressing.
it's peppery.
I'd say it is. It's quite good. You ate these as a kid.
Yeah, this was a special treat.
Oh, I'd say it is.
Well, you're welcome to have yours, and you owe me for later.
I owe you a leap pie.
Well, I was gonna have one later, and now I
want-
can only have two right
you want
now.
some
and
goat leg? We've got lots of goat
I'll
leg.
probably eat that too.
Okay. Deal.
As you all sit down and you have like an opportunity to sit and relax, you can see that Nicholas has gotten really quiet. He's just been sort of eating his goat shank, and he's been deep in thought, I guess is maybe a good way to put it. But he hasn't spoken up very much. But he speaks up suddenly with a yelp as he's sort of looking past all. I imagine you all kind of sitting and facing each other.
Sure.
And he's looking past you, and he drops his shank, and he says, actually, before he gets a chance to say anything, you can hear footsteps coming from behind you, and you can see that there appears to be a half-elf who is standing there right next to you, dressed in sort of dark brown leather clothes. And he's looking over all of you, and he says, well, isn't this a strange sight? All of the, what they're dubbing the pawn shop murderers, all gathered up into one place. What are the chances of that?
We did no such thing, sir. Who
Do
are
you
you?
recognize who this guy is?
No, but Nicholas seems to. As he steps back, he says, Bodrick, we have nothing to do with the guild. This is not a guild business. And the half-elf in front of you says, oh, you made this guild business. I believe that this was your doing from the beginning, Nicholas, and I think that it's time that you go and talk to the guild yourselves. Probably the rest of you, too. I don't know where you've come from, but you've certainly stepped in it now.
What purpose would we have to talk to the guild at this point?
My understanding is that the guard all have descriptions of you by this time, and are probably scouring the rest of the city for you.
We
have
did
disguises.
nothing.
He looks at your ponchos, which I'm kind of imagining is everybody wearing their ponchos
Yeah.
while they're eating
Yeah.
their meals, and he goes, "Yes, great job with that.
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll fit in. I look forward to your next performance. But all things aside, I think the guards are probably going to track you down. At this point, you probably need our protection more than we're interested in getting answers from you."
Hey, listen to me. We did nothing wrong. Who the hell are you?
He says, My apologies. Clearly, Nicholas has not keyed you into any of this. My name is Bodrick, and I am the current representative of this district for the Thieves Guild. And he takes like a long bow, and he says, you are in our district, and it looks like somebody was killed who was an affiliate of ours. And Nicholas looks kind of surprised by that, and he says, Roppy was never an affiliate. He was always hiring people outside the guild. And Bodrick kind of laughs, and he says, you think that Bodrick was not an affiliate of the Thieves Guild. You think that he was hiring people, scabs, outside the guild without our knowing? No. Bodrick has always been a member of the Thieves Guild. We hired him.
Not Bodrick.
I'm sorry, Roppy.
Yeah.
Roppy was always a member of the Thieves Guild. We hired him to basically make sure that there's a market for scabs. We'd rather have them coming to our people and paying the taxes through them than having them do it outside of our network. Yes, Roppy was always working with us, and since one of our members was killed, I think it's time that we find some answers as to what's going on.
Absolutely. I think we can help each other, but I need some reassurance that you're not going to harm our Nicholas friend here.
He says, he kind of gives a long look over you and Nicholas, and he says, that's a tall order coming from a stranger from another land.
Bigger things are afoot here in this town than some petty thing that Nicholas ever had done to you before.
He considers it for a long moment, and no, I'm actually not going to have you roll for this. Kirk, describe for me what kind of I guess nonverbal is Thrain taken up in this thing? Is he like standing and taking a strong stance? Is this casual?
No, just like I did it, eye contact. No,
Yeah.
I'm not threatening. Just
I'm standing over, like I'm starting to get ready to punch.
He says, it looks like Nicholas owes quite a bit of money to the Thieves Guild for all the jobs that he's done. But Roppy was a friend of many people, and getting to the bottom of his murder is probably higher on our list than collecting some fees from him.
I'm glad we see eye to eye on this.
I should let you know, I'm not the one in charge of all of this. That'll be up to, the council. But I will have my voice, and I'll give my input on that level. You'll at least have my backing that I will do my best to make sure no harm comes to your friend Nicholas.
Hopefully this will be a good collaboration.
He says, collaboration might be a good way to put it. At the very least, we intend to hire you for a job.
Oh.
And he escorts you towards another part of the roof, and he says, I think we should better get underground before any of the guards manage to start finding their way up into any of these directions.
But we've got our disguises.
Yeah, we have our disguises. So we're okay.
He sighs and he says, there actually is a music festival going on the other side of town.
Perfect.
I sincerely doubt that any of you realize that, but until we get to that side of town, I'm not sure your disguises will be terribly useful over here.
She's driving me out of my mind. Miss her, kiss her, love her.
That girl is poison.
Constitution check.
He leads you down a door that you previously definitely did not know was there, and he passes through another person's residence, and you can see them kind of wave to him as he like passes through this basically trap door in their ceiling, and then down through their living room, and says another bunch of them, Bodrick, and he goes, just usual business. You enjoy your supper there. And he leaves you down, and then finally gets to the base of the building and opens up the rug underneath you, and then pulls open a hatch that seems to lead down into an underground part of the city.
Literally underground.
He says, if you want to get around in a city, you've got to have a good way to do it. As he gestures for you to go down, he also does not seem armed in any way. He seems to be wearing just plain and simple clothes. It's clear that he came here to talk to you, not to threaten you. Although maybe there's some veiled threats that are sort of inside of that. But he gestures for you to go down, and eventually you make your way down into the underground parts of the city. You can see that there's somebody down there who is a little bit bigger and clearly well armed, who kind of nods as you come through, since you're walking through with Bodrick, and he leads you over to a very small rail car. that is set up right next to you. It's big enough for all of you to get into, and it's got some like benches that are set up. And he motions for you to come and sit, and he says, "I'm taking you directly to, well, at least the council member who is currently operating and the best person to talk to. He'll inform you as to what's going on and give you a chance to maybe explain your side of the story."
Is this a magical rail car?
Magical, no, but it is on a slight incline. And he pulls a lever, and the rail car starts moving very, very slowly as it starts to pick up speed. And the rail car sort of goes down the long track that it's on. He says, "The rail car itself isn't magical, though we do use a little bit of magic to push them back up into position. But they have provided a particularly great way for being able to travel around the city. This actually was not built by us. It was built by the original people who inhabited the city and set it up for themselves. But most people have forgotten about it by these times. There's not a lot of people who come down into here, except for the Thieves Guild, of course, and the Assassins Guild when they are needing this kind of service. But the Thieves Guild's the one who charges for everything. As you can see," and he kind of eyes Nicholas, "there are lots of benefits to being a part of the Thieves Guild."
By Moradin's beard, we are in with strange bedfellows, Grollo.
Oh, yeah, I'm sleepy too. You're right.
He travels a long way down into this deep area and finally pulls the lever hard, and it grinds to a halt as he comes off at a stop. And he says, "One word of advice. If you're going to talk to one of the council members, I would do so with more respect, perhaps, than you've done so with me. I'm able to shrug stuff off pretty reasonably well, but I would, just keep in mind that they have no problem slitting your throats and leaving you in a ditch."
We almost killed you. Oops, shouldn't have said that.
He says, "Well, then I'm glad you didn't."
Me too.
Also, before I let you in, which one of you is which? I know Nicholas, but I only know a couple of names, and that's all I have to go on. Who is Grollo?
Well, that's me.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
And who are the two of you?
My name is Shoosh. You've probably heard of me.
He actually, his eyes go up, and he goes, "You mean the busker?
Yes.
Shoosh, weren't you driven out of town several years ago?"
No, he's misunderstood. You're probably getting your stories mixed up.
If I remember
Shush,
right,
not Shoosh.
He's a different tiefling.
there was a story that was drifting around about a tiefling busker who was a dues-paying member of the Musicians Guild,
Stories.
but apparently got pushed out of town after he tried to work his way into a gambling ring.
Yes, that's
In order to buddy up to some of the higher members of the guild.
You know
They
the
didn't
story
take too
really
kindly
well.
to it.
So I'm famous. Is what you're saying. I mean, he is, not me. He
Shush, I'm sure he's talking about you.
He might be.
We've learned a lot about you today. Spicy food, gambling, criminal history. This is interesting.
Well, the way I heard it, he didn't actually get pushed out of town for the gambling, but he got pushed out of town because he wouldn't leave the head of the Musicians Guild alone.
For what?
That's all part of the story. I've heard several different versions, one of which was just that he insisted on playing in the gambling ring even when there was already a band that had been hired for it.
Oh.
There's funny stories.
Well, we learned so much about
Yes.
you. I love it.
Anyway, this is Thrain.
Ah, right.
He's very well known also.
I don't know of you at all, I'm sorry.
I'm from Featherdale, which is far to the north.
Oh, that is quite a long ways. Well, either way, have a good time. Don't get killed. Perhaps I'll see you around sometime. And he motions for you to enter into this doorway. So just to paint a picture, you guys are in sort of what looks to be best described as like an underground like subway tunnel. It seems very well built. It's actually reasonably clean, and it's definitely well lit.
Does it look dwarven made at all?
It does have some telltale signs of dwarven construction. Probably the reason that it's held up so long. A lot of these things get abandoned. This was probably used as a way to travel supplies from place to place a long time ago when they were doing a lot more construction in the city. But now that a lot of the construction has gone up rather than out, they probably use this. Lost track of this at some point in time. But it's clear that some of the stuff, especially the carts themselves, seem to have a hint of dwarven design to them that you would definitely recognize, Thrain. As you open up the door...
Oh, mine.
It is mine. As you open up the door, you find your way into a very nice-looking office that's reasonably well lit. It's got very, very nice furniture, and there is a woman who is sitting at a small table who seems to be writing several things down as she's sitting at the table, and she motions for you to come and sit. And she says, let's see, I hadn't figured out what accent to give her. I think I'll just give her a no accent. She says, "Hello and welcome. You must be Thrain, Grollo, Shoosh, and Nicholas, if I have it right."
Correct.
Yes.
Not in that order, but yeah.
Very well. Have a seat. I would like to hear what brings you into our town.
Well, we were accused unfairly of murder. That we were there, and it looks bad. We were there, but we didn't kill the person.
She takes a deep breath, and she seems to be writing something. Everybody roll me perception checks.
13.
19.
Lots of stuff. 21.
Those are all pretty good. Thrain, you don't quite catch this. Maybe you're more preoccupied with her or the rest of the setting. Shoosh and Grollo, both of you can see what she's writing are death certificates. She is forging death certificates, and she is writing your names into the death certificates. And she seems to be doing a pretty good job with it. She's clearly done this before. And she is filling out. She's even doing the filigree around the certificate and everything.
Hey, what?
Forging the certificate, the
You
signature
can't read
of the
though,
person.
Berto. You can't read. Grollo.
What are you?
Yeah, it doesn't. I guess. You can see that she's writing stuff. You have no idea
But
what
I've
it
seen
says.
a death certificate before.
Where would Grollo have seen a death certificate before?
Aren't they common in doesn't everyone get a death certificate?
There might be a symbol.
I would say, I'll say that there's a symbol
skull
or
and crossbones.
a clear.
I recognize
indicator.
my name, and this thing looks deathly. So I'm
Sure.
hey, what are you doing there?
She says, "I'm taking care of your guard problem right now."
Do we get
All
to
of you.
pick a new name?
No, you're dead.
But-
you still have your same name. You're just
Or we can
dead.
get new identities, though.
No. We will.
think,
We will hand you some new identifier cards if that's what you're asking about.
Yes.
Well,
Do you have a
unless,
preference, Shoosh?
unless you
I'll
prefer
just
to
do
actually
my
be
name
dead.
backwards. It's just a work in progress. I'll get back to the drawing board about it.
She says, unless you prefer to be dead, which we would be happy to arrange.
Are you being literal?
She does not smile or give you anything to go on.
I'm going to smile extra big.
She says, I know that the four of you did not kill Roppy. And more specifically, I think that there is something bigger going on here, and you clearly are involved in something with it. So what I would like from you is the truth about what brought you to this city.
We came to this city because we're investigating a situation involving Groomsh that has led us down a path to this city, and also to Lord Blancmere of the archaeology department in town.
She gives you a long, hard look, Thrain, and she says, "This isn't a religions war, is it?"
For me, no. Normally, that this isn't a problem. But I'm not enthusiastic about Groomsh having tricked all the townspeople into... how does the Thieves Guild feel about Groomsh?
The Thieves Guild doesn't take a particularly strong position one way or the other on any of the churches in the city.
Well, I'll take that over the townspeople up above.
I suppose that's fair, especially given your clear position. She can't see any of your symbols because you're wearing your poncho, but she clearly has made some assumptions or has some inside knowledge about you being a representative of Moradin. And she says, it seems to me that this may tie nicely into some problems that we have as well. I don't have any strong positions for or against Grumsh. My understanding of Grumsh is that it seems like a fine church to worship, as well as any of them, at least. However, some of our people have been going missing, and we've found some evidence to link back to some of the orc worshippers in the area.
Perhaps they're being sacrificed at the temple on the statue.
Her eyes go up with that, and she says, sacrificed in an open courtyard in my city?
At night, they are, I am guessing, doing clandestine sacrifices of something. And Grumsh is the evil of all evils, so I would not put it past them to be sacrificing actual townspeople.
It's true. I've seen orcs sacrifice before. A lot.
It's ugly and painful.
In fact, you saying sacrifice was the only thing that's gotten her to stop writing so far. And she sort of stares all of you down, and her eyes kind of settle on Grollo, and she says, "Are you not a worshiper of Grumsh?"
No.
You said Lord Blancmere is tied up in this somehow.
Yes.
He has been a thorn in our side for some time. I would not mind him being not around anymore.
How is he?
He has the ear to the king, and the king obviously is not too happy about some of our services that we offer.
Is someone influencing the king? Is it Lord Blancmere or is it someone else?
Well, Lord Blancmere certainly has a large portion of the king's time. He goes to most of the fancy dinners with him, most of the stately affairs, although Lord Blancmere also travels significantly outside of the city, especially more recently. He's been traveling for many different occasions, usually a couple of days at a time, and then comes back.
I mean, not really. What they were saying was making sense in the temple, but Thrain here says that maybe I shouldn't listen to this because they're deceiving me, but they were making some good points.
How many times has the god Moradin saved you through my preaching and through my actions, Grollo?
This is true.
Moradin is good. Grollo is evil in this.
This is why I'm mostly on Thrain's side here. What was the question again?
She nods and she says, "I didn't ask a question, but thank you so much, Grollo, for your insights. I think we may have an opportunity to help each other here. You're after something, and I think I can benefit from helping you get to it. The Thieves Guild will help you along your way. We happen to have somebody here who may help point you in the right direction." She stands up and she blows a bit on the death certificates, and she says, "From this point forward, all 4 of you have died. You were killed, very unfortunately, in a terrible accident, an explosion, unfortunately."
But what are you talking about?
It means that your bodies will not be very easily recognizable, but luckily, the medical examiner who looks you over, the priest, will assure the guards that they have the right people.
These are lies. We are not dead.
She says, "Boy, Grollo is quick, isn't he?"
I am very fast, but that's not the point. We are alive because I am fast.
You are alive because I have deemed it to be useful to us. Let that be very clear here. You have operated without our permission in our area, and you've come into our city, especially you, Nicholas, without paying a visit and an homage to our guild operations. So I think it's wise for you to remember that right now you are in the lion's den, Grollo.
Okay, I have no problem with lions. I can handle a lion just fine. I am telling you, we're not dead. It sounds like you agree. You're saying we're alive, so we agree.
She rolls her eyes and she looks at Thrain and Shoosh and she says, "You'll keep him in line, right?"
We always do.
Whatever.
In that case, I think it's time you talk to our prisoner. And she stands up from the table and she sets she actually brings the death certificates with her, and she steps out the door, and there's somebody who's standing on the other side of the door, a different person, and she hands the death certificates to them and says, make sure that all of them have been killed properly, and then gestures for them to go away, and she walks you a short distance down and she says, we don't like people operating in our city without being a part of the guild membership. We have a strict and very welcoming relationship with the Assassins Guild. They take jobs and they report all of those jobs to us. Thieving is one thing. Killing people on our turf without having permission to do so, that's a whole nother thing. We caught somebody that I thought might be of interest to you. Someone who...
Not the woman.
Somebody who was after well, some people of your description and may have mistaken some other people for you. She says, yes, a woman. You've met her before?
I think so. She's treacherous. She's dangerous.
Not cruddy.
Not cruddy.
Oh, good. I still have my heart set on cruddy.
I think she's in league with Lord Blancmere and whomever else is involved in this.
She says, well, that's more information than we've been able to get out of her. If you have the opportunity to get some info from her, it could be quite useful to us, as well as it sounds like maybe useful on your own quest. She turns a right down a long hallway and then eventually comes to a door, and turns to open the door, and she says, we are not guards. We have no rules here. Do whatever you need to do, but get the information you need, solve your problems, and get out of my city. And she opens the door and then finally says, if you need anything, you can talk to Broderick. He will be your point of contact. And she walks away.
Thank you. I didn't catch your name.
She says, no, you didn't.
Thank you. Miss, no, you didn't.
Continues. She doesn't even turn around when she says it. She just continues to walk away from you.
So what was her name?
No, you didn't.
That's a weird name.
I think it's Southern. I think it's Southern.
Yeah. They have a bunch of strange naming traditions down there.
So we need to ask this lady some questions.
Her sister is yes, you did. Yeah. So I'm in a quandary.
We think this is the lady who we
tried to kill us, and we killed her brother.
Right.
But you're in a quandary because you don't feel the thief stuff is very moral.
But
I can't torture someone.
Right.
Didn't her brother die because he had a self-choking necklace or something like that? So somebody else killed him.
Right.
We didn't kill him.
Right, true.
That just means that there's a trail of breadcrumbs going somewhere else, and she might know where that bread.
But she might not be. So your point is okay. All right, here we go. So, are we sure we can trust these people?
I don't think we have a choice, Grollo, and they've been trustworthy thus far, and they've solved our problem with the guards and the murder of Rapi.
Well, what are we supposed to do? Torture this woman?
I have Zone of Truth.
Oh, that sounds better.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We won't have to torture her then. That sounds good.
This is a good opportunity for me as a dungeon master to offer a couple of tools for us as a table. So sometimes in our groups, things come up where players want to do things that are in the game that we are not necessarily comfortable having at our table. Those are things like torture, or sometimes sex things come up, and we say that's not appropriate for the setting that we have here, or other players might be really uncomfortable by that. So there's a couple of tools that we like to use in our groups for this kind of interaction. So one of them is called a fade to black. So a fade to black is something that anybody can call out at any point in time. If we're ever in the middle of a scene and it's either becoming emotionally overwhelming, or it's becoming a scene that is just a scene you don't want to have to play out, anybody can call a fade to black. And a fade to black means, just like in a movie, maybe the things happen, but we skip over that. We don't watch that scene. So this could be a torture scene. Maybe you really do need to get information. Maybe the person you're torturing is a really bad person. Whatever the case may be, that's the choice the players have made, but somebody at the table is not comfortable with playing that whole scene out.
Or like when Quentin Tarantino has the camera on the police officer and Mr. Yellow or Orange is walking up and the camera, he's about to cut off the guy's ear and the camera goes up to the ceiling. Remember that in Reservoir Dogs?
Right.
Fade to ceiling.
Fade to ceiling. So does that happen in your groups where a player will say, fade to black? Why would they do that?
It depends on the group. Usually this is a tool that we end up giving to some of our older kids groups, especially teenagers want to have more opportunity to really explore, to really deal with things like moral conundrums, as you guys are now having to deal with through your characters, to decide what's important to my character, or what lines is my character willing to walk, where are they willing to go, and where are they not willing to go. And part of playing with those is about self-identity. It's about the exploration of what you find is important. And that can totally come up in some of our older kids groups. We actually had a campaign where the group was dealing with genocide and trying to deal with a powerful weapon they might give to a faction of people that could cause the genocide of an entire group of people. And they had to decide what they thought was important and whether or not this was something that they wanted to allow to have happen.
And when did the fade to black come in?
Fade to black comes in when we're getting into the nitty gritty description parts. And so in this case, it was a torture scene where I called the fade to black as the dungeon master because it was getting to a place where I was like, I don't think this is going to be helpful for our players at the table, and I can see some other players becoming more uncomfortable in what we're getting to. So I want to call a fade to black. I want to say, cool, you torture that guy. Here's the information that you get, and now we're on the other side of that.
Because in the moment, as a dungeon master, you're like, well, there's no logical way to steer around this plot point when you might have tried earlier or something, and like in this instance, if neither one of us had zone of truth or something, then and we're seemingly heading in that direction. Like, well, we need the information, and there's no other way around it. And
if we can't think of anything else, there's always another way, right? But if we can't think of anything, we could like Thrain walks in, closing the door behind him, fade to black. Like, it's very cinematic, right? Yeah. So then the fade back in, sitting around a table while Thrain has sort of like an ashen look on his face, and he just
that's great. I'm guessing that would really help.
It's the Princess Leia torture device.
Yeah,
and the door shuts right before you see
you always wanted to know what
happened.
Well, it looked like there was a syringe.
Yeah, she got injected,
but that was it, right?
But it didn't work.
Yeah, it was an orb of truth.
So I could see that really being helpful for facilitators who are like, oh my God, where are we headed right now? And or players. But have players ever called that? Like, when would a player call it?
Players usually call it in reference to other things. This is especially good to have as a tool for a group of players that have experienced some level of trauma, where you don't necessarily know where their trauma is going to be a part of the game that's happening. This is just a general thing that happens as a practitioner working with trauma is you may be exploring something that seems unrelated to the trauma and find that it comes back around. And that's a tool more for the players to be able to say, I'm not ready to share this yet, or I'm not ready to have experience for this yet, and I can take this as a moment to step away or to remove myself.
So you've had a player do fade to black and you don't necessarily even know why they're doing it?
Yeah, and usually that would be like a conversation we would have with them afterwards. Okay. To say, great, right now we're just going to respect that boundary, but later on we can touch base and see what was happening for them in that moment, or what was going on for them, so that we can come back, not necessarily in the game, but make sure that we're supporting them well, or avoiding those situations in the future if that's going to be an overwhelming experience.
Yeah, that's really great.
It's an empowerment tool.
Yeah.
So we give it out before we even get to the point. We don't get into a place where it's weird, and then we say, does anybody want to fade to black?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We just give it out early. That's like what they sometimes call a session zero before we start playing. You say, here's a tool that anybody can use. It's called Fade to Black. If anything ever happens,
Right.
you can say Fade to Black, and we'll move on to the next scene.
Great.
So it's just a tool.
Which is why I'm also stopping at this point. For the purposes of the podcast, I don't think we're going to get into any deep torture descriptions. That's probably not going to happen, and I will make sure that doesn't happen as a dungeon master for this game. But the opportunity and the richness of the world sometimes requires that you have the opportunity to make choices, and choices should be on the table and available for you as players.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, all of you open up the door, and you can see into a sort of dank, dimly lit cell. It's to give you an image of it. It's mostly metal. It looks a lot like an interrogation room. There's a table in the middle of the room, and you can see handcuffed with her arms behind her back is the half orc that tried to kill you in the alleyway in the previous tab. And she sees the four of you walk in, and she has a great big smile that shows up on her face and then fades quickly as she realizes that she is not in a good position at this time, and the four of you walking in is probably not good for her. And she doesn't say anything as you kind of come in and sit at the table.
We haven't made a plan or anything, but I'm going to give...
oh, yeah. Did you guys... I took this away from you. Did you want to have a conversation before you came in?
Well, we kind of did in that we were like, Thrain and I were like, we're not going to torture her. And then Shoosh was like, well, I can just use the truth thing.
That's true, but I think we should good cop, bad cop this lady.
Okay.
You're the good cop.
Okay.
You're the good guy.
Okay.
We could do the bad cop thing.
Okay. Great.
Cool.
Where do I come in?
Oh, I forgot you're there. Sorry. You are...
The Guar cop.
The Guar cop.
Okay. All right.
So I'm a bad cop?
Yes.
Okay.
So do I...
Most of you stay silent.
Oh, all right. Perfect. I will...
Look menacing.
I got a good menacing look. I'll do this with like my eyes. I'll get all, like real like squinty, and then I'll could I growl every once in a while or something like that?
Grit your teeth.
Grit my teeth, like put it like this.
Keep your mouth closed, but grit your teeth behind your
It
lips.
looks like you're in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I expressing?
You look like you just ate a lemon.
Yeah.
Do you want a leaf pie?
To help wash the lemon taste out of my mouth.
Do you have any leaf pies left?
I ate both of mine, and you ate my other one, so no.
Now you have an excuse to meet your girlfriend again.
Oh, I can go talk to Cruddy. She makes the best leaf pies this side of the north.
Yeah.
I was thinking that would be like a non-torturous but really unpleasant thing. People tend to let their guard down when they eat too many spicy food. They're like just like hot ones. We talked about.
Yeah.
That would have been useful.
We'll go in. We've decided.
But
Bad
she's
cop.
an orc, isn't she?
She is.
So she would have
you're right.
loved that, maybe.
Yeah, that'd have been maybe that's a good cop thing to have offered her that.
Yeah.
I'll go in and I'll take my dagger out and I'll stab it into the table and not say anything.
Okay. She kind of watches you with the dagger, and you stab it in the
Be
table.
intimidating.
Give me an intimidation check.
18.
All right. She doesn't say much. Her eyes don't go wide or anything like that, but she also doesn't like speak up or smirk at you or anything like that.
When I stab the dagger into the table and I stand up and put my hands behind my back and sort of like pace back and forth.
Oh, all right.
We meet again.
She says, not... Oh, did I give her an accent before? Let's go with not the circumstances that I thought we would meet in. That's for sure.
Well, you don't have much of a choice now. You're on our turf and our terms.
She looks around the room and she says, your turf, huh?
We're working with the Thieves Guild.
Listen, Shoosh and I here are bad cops, okay? So we're here and you're going to respect us.
She says, she looks over the two of you and she looks back at Thrain and she says, does that make you the good cop?
How did you know?
We need to figure out a way that we can save this town, and I'm guessing that you don't care to do such a thing.
Before Thrain finishes, I'm going to grab her by the collar. Go, who do you work for?
She looks kind of shaken and surprised as you grab her by the collar, and she
Then I'm gonna let
says,
go, and then I'm gonna pace again.
and she says, "I don't intend to tell you anything, and I have no interest in saving this
I
time."
grab her and I do the same exact thing. Who do you work for?
She seems a little less surprised this time. But
What are
she
you
does seem
interested in?
inconvenienced by
What are you interested in?
She says, "I'm interested in getting out of here and maybe killing the four of you."
Well, the first part, maybe we can do something if you tell us what's going on.
Or we could just let you die here. They wanted to kill you.
There's a table, right? You put your knife on a table?
Yeah.
Okay, when she says kill and when these guys are talking, I just grab my maul and I'm in mid-swing to swing it down on the table.
You're just holding it up.
No, like I'm swinging. It's going to come down on the table in like half a second.
Oh, okay. As they're saying the stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it happen. I'm not gonna stop you. This is great.
The table shatters to splinters.
It's my dagger go flying across the room.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't hit anybody.
It goes into Nicholas's head.
You've killed Nicholas.
Oh,
End of the campaign.
I like it.
She falls backwards. She's strapped to a chair, so she catapults backwards as you smash the table, and she cries out as she hits the floor.
I go up to her. I say, "Look, Grollo's serious, and the next thing that thing hits is going to be your head if you don't cooperate with us. This is going to happen one way or the other."
She says, "Maybe you don't understand the situation that you're in.
Well, tell us.
This is not an option for me. Failure is not an option. I walk out of here and I'm killed. I stay here and I'm killed. My circumstances don't get tremendously better if I have not killed the four of you."
Why?
We are already dead, aren't we? She was saying we're dead.
We are actually already dead. Why though?
She kind of looks at you and she says, "You don't look very dead."
That's what I was saying.
Because my clan, for lack of a better word, for your language, hired me to come and kill you.
Why?
She takes a deep breath and she kind of clams up a little bit.
Is she
You think
wearing a
she
death
needs
necklace?
some more stuff? She is.
I want to take
Who-
that thing off of her.
What was that?
She's
The
wearing a
death
necklace
necklace.
that's going to
Oh,
kill her.
right.
So we got to take that necklace off of her.
Yeah. I am guessing.
Do you just reach over and try to take it
Yeah.
off? Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Critical fail.
Oh, it's so nice to
Both-
have known you.
both
her head and your fingers.
Those are my. I need those fingers.
Shoosh, you and the orc who has not introduced her name, but both of you take 12 damage. As you try to take it off, it shocks the both of you. And she actually says no before you like grab at it and then start taking it off, and she says no trying to stop you. But it basically just electrocutes the both of you as you try to take it off. However, I will say you don't think it didn't provide any resistance to you taking it off. It just shocked you when you tried to do it. So you don't think it's like not removable. It just hurts you when you try to remove it.
Well, then I try. Let me try.
Thrain, roll me a medicine check.
You should go into a rage first.
Medicine check.
Yeah.
10, 9.
Okay. You can tell that Shoosh was pretty badly hurt by it, and you can tell that the orc was badly hurt by it. Do you want to try also?
Yeah.
Roll me a dexterity saving throw. Oh, actually, it was dexterity for you because you had to avoid kind of letting go of it.
As he's
Grollo, I want you to roll me Constitution.
I like where he's going with this. I cast bless on him just before he does. Actually, I cast bless on all of us.
Okay, and which one was it? +4. Okay, 17.
As you reach down, I'll give her a chance to save. As you reach down and grab for it, she said she's sort of recovering and breathing heavy from Shoosh trying to pull it off, and she says, "No, you idiot! What are you?" And then you reach down and start yanking at it. Both of you are going to take a whole lot of damage.
Did he miss his save?
No, he succeeded his save, so
okay.
you're going to take half damage.
Okay.
From all of this, but you're basically muscling through all of the
Right.
like experience to yank it off the top of her
This
head.
is like a dog collar.
Yeah, it's like a shock collar basically.
Yeah.
Let's see. She takes another 15 damage. Grollo, you're going to take half that, so 7 damage for you.
damage. Okay. Not so bad.
Did he get it off?
Yes, but you were successful. Roll me another medicine check.
13.
She is passed out,
I'll
and you think she is close to dying.
I'm the bad cop. You're the good cop.
Yeah, I got that.
Who do you work for?
I cast Cure Wounds on her and heal her for 9 hit points.
Awesome. It's enough to wake her back up. She's still got some burns on her, and she's still maybe not in great shape.
By the way, is the color destroyed, or does it look like something I can hold on to?
It is something you can hold on to.
Is it still just like shocking because it's off of its?
No, now that it's sort of like been removed from her neck and kind of over the top of her head, it is no longer shocking, and it still is the symbol of Grumsh on the pendant of the collar, but you can tell that it is not affecting her anymore, but probably still magical.
Okay. So someone needs to take this necklace out of the room because it might have the ability to hear what we're talking about. I don't know.
No, that's smart. Should we destroy it or should we? Because we carry it around, and they're gonna be able to hear
We could
us.
give it to the Thieves Guild.
We should figure
Give it to the guard.
But it's so pretty.
It's dangerous.
All right. So I walk out and I give it to the guard. Is the guard like just outside?
Yeah, he doesn't know what you're handing him, but he takes it from
This
you.
is a dangerous truth collar.
He shrugs. Okay.
Give it to someone.
He goes to try to put it on his
Don't
head.
put it on your head.
Oh, okay.
It's dangerous.
Do I see this interaction?
Yeah.
Okay, you really met your match, Grollo. Give that to one of your arcane people. They will know what to do with it.
The guard outside sort of puts his eyebrows down and goes, okay.
Do not put it on. It will hurt you.
He shakes his head as he's like holding it up.
It's going to kill you.
Down, boy, down.
He puts it in his pocket.
So I go back to, and I say, okay, so now you can tell us the truth, right?
She says, the collar kills me if I tell you anything. Yes, but the opportunity for the orc tribes is still too good here.
Those days will come to an end. Moradin will see to that. You know that, don't you?
She says, Moradin's never been able to stand up well to the orcs. You should know better than that, dwarf. Don't you know that the orcs have existed for such a long time because of our ability to stand up against Moradin's attempts to drive us back?
Dwarves have always driven the orcs back, sent them out into the fields, and has lived in glory, the dwarves. Kings and queens and gems and mines, and out in the open, the orcs have been relegated to the forests and the fields. They're scum. No offense, Grollo.
Relegated
right.
to lands that should have been ours in the first place.
Far away from good civilized people.
Grumsh was robbed from the opportunity to put the orcs in a place where they could call their own.
Is that what
lands
this is
they could
about?
farm. Of course that's what this is about.
Revenge?
Hasn't it always been about it?
Revenge?
And why do the dwarves always attack the orcs then?
Because the orcs attack the dwarves. Always first, always treacherous, always in the night.
You're talking about a war that lasts so long because it's only a war for war purposes. The orcs have been here trying to take back what should have been rightfully theirs. An opportunity to be out in the world, to have our space. And now we shall have it. This city is ripe for the
By
taking.
sacrificing innocent people on a statue in front of the temple?
She pauses a long moment and says, by doing whatever is necessary.
Typical orcs.
Can I sort of like secretly cast Zone of Truth?
You can secretly cast it. I'll let you do that, but if she's affected by it, either she'll be affected by it or she won't be affected by it, and in either case, she'll know she's under the effect.
Even
of
if she's like enthralled by this argument with Thrain, so that like maybe you can get her blood boiling, so
Yeah.
she's just like in the moment she's gonna say something.
I'll make that 2 checks. So you can make a check, Shoosh, to like a stealth check to cast
And I have
it.
to deceive her on
and
something?
then
Get her all
I
riled
need you
up.
to do a
Like a charisma check?
let's make it like perform or persuade. You can use whichever one's higher.
So here's what I want to do. I want to be able to like ready Zone of Truth until I can like trigger it.
Yeah.
It's right when she's about to like clearly answer the question that would be a lie. But like I want you to get her all riled up so she's about to say the thing.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to figure out where the hell this is. Okay. I know where I'm going.
Okay, so will you give me like a signal when you're...
I'm gonna say zap.
Okay,
I realize we're in a non-visual medium. But I'm gonna say zap. I'm gonna point my finger at the same time.
Okay, perfect.
So revenge is what this is all about then.
This is about revenge. This is about a lifetime of the orcs being a part of something kept out from a place where they should have been.
You want to talk revenge to me? First of all, you tried to kill us. You said you were going to kill us still. And you know what the orcs did to my life and my mother and my village? You better not talk about revenge. I talk about revenge.
You are a dirty half-breed that never should have existed in the first place.
That's it. I'm swinging. I'm swinging. I'm punching.
You're
Yeah.
bad guy.
I'm punching.
Yeah. Give me an attack roll. You can use the same as your Maul attack roll, but you're going to do a little less damage.
Okay. So,
Do they have non-lethal on 5.0?
Not really.
Oh, wait, sorry.
They kind of took all of that stuff out. You could probably add it back in as the concept still kind of
So
exists.
D20 plus my attack bonus or no attack?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
attack
can add your
bonus.
attack.
Okay, so 17.
That's definitely enough to hit her. She's currently unarmored and sitting in a chair. So,
So what do I roll for damage?
so do you want to dish out as much damage as you can, or do you want to just kind of deck her for saying something that you
it
didn't
wasn't like a super planned hit. It was like my line hit the red line, and so I was like, blah!
Okay, then in that case, you're just going to do your strength modifier damage. There's no roll. It's just basically like just how hard you hit her.
So like the +5 in here.
Yeah.
Okay, 5.
Okay.
Jesus.
So it's a solid deck. She goes spiraling to the floor. Sprawling to the floor.
Both.
She falls to the floor, still attached to her chair, as you deck her across the face.
And I go up to her right then and I say, how is Lord Blancmere getting inside the king's head?
Zap.
And I got a 20 on the persuasion.
What's awesome?
I mean, I rolled a 17.
Sure,
but
that's with the bonus. Awesome. She says, your Lord Blancmere is no more than this.
Well, didn't he cast the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
she is.
Oh,
She's
okay.
caught it.
Okay.
You got her.
Oh, okay.
She says, "Your Lord Blancmere is nothing more than the vessel for our God." And then she actually, I'll give her a little bit more. She says, he stole the gem that connected him to Groomsh and has ever since been serving the orc armies. We rally and we come to storm your city and take everything back.
I knew it. Treacherous.
She looks a little shocked after saying a lot of that.
So just to back up, she said that she confirmed essentially that Lord Blancmere is in the king's head.
She said that Lord Blancmere is a vessel for their god.
Lord Blancmere is a vessel for their god.
And that it has something to do with the Watcher's Eye.
With the gem.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Go for it if you have anything.
I mean, does she know that
She looks shocked. She now knows that you like caught her in the moment enough to like get her to spill a little bit more than she was prepared to do, but she now knows that she's under the truth.
But even though she told the truth, she's nothing. She doesn't like die from any other like
She does not.
cyanide teeth or
And
whatever.
she seems to sort of wait and see what happens too. And she says, "The four of you are pretty clever, aren't you?"
What's your name?
My name is Sky.
Sky.
What
That's not a usual orc name.
No, it is not. I was not raised with the orcs. I joined the orc tribes later in my life with my brother.
Call me
who
a
you
half-breed.
killed.
Seems like, Sky, now you've spilled the beans. You're as good as dead.
By either side.
She kind of looks away from you, but she nods and says, "You're not wrong."
So, it seems we have a common enemy then.
It seems like there's still some beans left in that pot.
Are there beans for real?
It's a metaphor.
She sighs and she says, "Can you pick up the chair?" She's still laying on her
I
side.
pick her up and put her on the...
She says, "What's your deal?"
We would like everything to go back to the way it was, where the orcs were in the fields, minding their own business, hunting, occasionally raiding, and this town return to the way it was before, where there was only like a third of the town were sinners instead of everyone a sinner.
She rolls her eyes and she says, "Boy, an idealist, of course. I mean, what do you want to give me for the information?"
Your life,
She says, "You'll let me go?"
if the information is good enough.
I guarantee that she won't try to kill us again.
If the information is good enough, then perhaps we will part and never see each other again, hopefully.
I want passage from the city.
Of course.
And will you never try to kill us again?
At this point, it won't save me.
That's not an answer.
I have no intention to kill you
Thank
at
you.
this point. It's clear that you've bested my brother and me, and I cannot return to the orc tribe anyway. I will not try to kill you.
You shouldn't go around trying to kill good people.
He tells the truth by Moradin's beard.
She sighs and she says, "About 4 years ago." No, wait. I need to get my timeline right. How long ago was the? Does anybody remember how long ago the switch from when they started worshiping Moradin? I think
Yeah,
I
it
made
was within
6
the last
years.
10 years, so I think it
less than
was
10 years.
I think it was a while ago, yeah.
So she'll say, about 8 years ago, we were contacted by a man who was well-dressed, a human, who showed up to one of the orc tribes and demanded that he have audience. He talked to the orc leader inside of a tent, and the two of them came to an agreement that this man, some outsider, would come in and unite the orc tribes under a single banner, something that had not been done in a very long time. It was surprising that any of the orc leaders would listen to him, and when people pushed back, they were either killed or they met him themselves. But he was successful. He went to every orc tribe leader, he talked to them, he convinced them. Eventually, it became clear that this was no ordinary man, that he had something of a spirit within him. The rumors had spread about in all the orc tribes, but apparently the story that we have heard is that he was blessed with Grumsh, who chose him as his avatar. And we don't know why he picked a human over an orc, but this man, Blankmir, said that he would come in, unite the orcs under one banner, and take over this city with him as ruler, as the avatar Grumsh.
That must have really stung in your purest blood.
She frowns and nods, and she says, "There's much dissent in the orc tribes about this. No one is comfortable following a human to leadership in this way. But he has demonstrated much that would show that he is, in fact, the avatar to Grumsh."
You mentioned a gem. What was that?
In order to rise to full power, Grumsh needs to have a focus, something that can truly grant his avatar the full extent of his power. The gem that the Lord Blancmere was after was one that he found in a dig a long time ago and sold before he knew what it was important for. He called it something. Its official name is a word in Orcish, but he called it something else in your language. Watcher's Eye, I think. It's a large gem, but it will be used as the Eye of Grumsh in an effigy to summon the full avatar of Grumsh and allow him to take over the space within the city. He will level this town and kill anybody who is not a true worshipper of Grumsh. This church of Grumsh you have here, that is a front. None of those people are worshippers of Grumsh. They will be slayed and leveled with everybody else.
Wow. Your depravity is mind-blowing.
She shrugs and she says, your lack of Orcish war nature is mind-blowing to me.
Oh, he has it.
I just
As evidenced by this table.
good one, Thrain.
Then we all just sort of stare at each other.
As Grollo just stands and laughs.
Do you know any weaknesses of Lord Blancmere, where he is, how he operates?
If you intend to attack Lord Blancmere, I pity all of you. No Orc tribe leader has been able to stand to him, and several have tried. The four of you do not stand a chance taking down Lord Blancmere.
He's a puny human.
No, he is a true avatar of Grumsh.
How
and
does
I have
it?
witnessed that power.
How
It is
does
terrifying?
How does his influence work over the king? Do you know?
She shrugs and she says, "As far as I know, he has used no magical influence over the king. Honeyed words were all he used."
So he has powerful attacks.
He is a powerful being.
Well, he hasn't met us. Well, actually, he has met us, but he hasn't met us.
I say, wait here. I step out and I try to find Bodrick.
Oh, sure. He's waiting kind of long down the hallway.
Okay.
He was basically there to escort you out, but he sees you and kind of waves your way.
I say, this orc woman, Sky is her name. She has collaborated with us in good faith. And although I can't believe I'm asking you for this, but in agreement to help our cause of getting rid of Grumsh in this town, which, by the way, is very important because these Grumpshites are going to actually summon an avatar of Grumsh, and everyone in this town is going to die, including you. And this orcish woman has given us some information that has assured that she is now going to be hunted down by the Grumpshites, and in exchange for safe passage out, I believe she will not be a bother to us in the future.
He stares at you as you explain all of this and says, "I don't think I understand anything that you're saying, but yes, if you have struck a deal with her, you can let her go. However, you should know she did kill 4 people in the city before she wound up here. That's how we captured her. And in addition to that, the rules of the Thieves Guild are very clear. If you let her go, you need to deliver on whatever it is that you're saying, or you take her place in whatever punishment she had."
Agreed.
He nods and he says, "I'll make the necessary arrangements to have her escorted out of the city."
Okay, thank you, sir. I grab Shoosh out of the Watcher.
All right.
Shoosh, what? I'm trying to figure out what we need from this woman. Like, how do we figure out what do we ask her? You know.
I think we also need to know that she's not going to end up arranging a way for us to be killed. Some of the
Okay.
truth is very literal.
Yeah.
So we have to cross all of our T's and dot our I's.
Okay. So what?
It's very important.
So that's good. What else do we need in terms of our mission for Blancmere?
I think we need to know how to cut off his attachment to Groomsh. Because if he's not, he doesn't have Groomsh power.
Interesting.
He's just a normal person.
Okay. All right.
Maybe where he keeps the Watcher's Eye.
Oh. Okay.
Maybe who they're sacrificing in the center of town.
Okay. All right.
While this is happening, I say to her, "Hey, random question, but could you give me any tips on how to talk to orc or half orc women?"
You want to ask me for flirting tips?
I'm not proud of it, but yes.
I mean, I can't tell you. I don't know what the half-orc women are like, but an orc woman, she will generally like it if you actually. Oh man, I don't actually have any good tips.
She's in the zone of truth.
She's in the zone of truth.
She has to tell the truth.
She will say, she would like it best if you cook for her and stay silent.
Oh, cook and be quiet. Okay,
At least as an approach.
okay. I've got the secret now.
So we come back in and I hear that last bit and I'm like, what secret?
Oh, cook and be silent.
Okay.
Is that how we separate the gem from
She shrugs,
Blancmere?
and she says, "I couldn't tell you that even if I don't know. Obviously, I would tell you at this point.
Where does he keep the gem?
I don't know that either. I suspect he probably keeps it on him. I know that it is helping to channel his power to Groomsh.
Who are they killing in the temple?
Mostly whoever they can grab. Groomsh only rises to power in a place where he is truly worshipped. The fake temples to Groomsh won't actually cause any level of power increase or worship to him. They don't stand for his tenets.
Wait a minute.
Instead, they have to be participating in the true worship to Groomsh within all of those temple spaces. The sacrifices are most likely a way that they maintain an actual worship to Groomsh within all those places. They probably grab vagrants or weaklings, as that is a true testament to Groomsh's strength.
Morden's beard.
Whoa. He's still a man, right?
Blancmere? I suppose so, until he completes the ritual.
Why don't we feed him some leap pie somehow?
It's not a bad idea.
Like, he might have to appear to like him, but like we make him extra.
Is this just an excuse so we can go back and talk to Cruddy again?
I hadn't even thought of that, but my thinking is if we can weaken him at least temporarily, then maybe we could,
Hey, you know what? We're just spitballing, and I like it.
Oh, I'll definitely spit into them. That's beside the question.
Yeah. So are you saying there's another more valid temple to Groomsh somewhere?
No, all the temples are probably being used as they are. They're just doing all the sacrifices there. Most likely when the temple closes, they use that as an opportunity to actually worship Groomsh in his true way.
Okay. And you say Lord Blancmere is very powerful.
She kind of stares off into the distance and she says, more powerful than you can imagine.
Are there any events or ceremonies coming up where he will be in attendance?
She says, do I look like the keeper of his schedule?
I don't know. I'm just asking, is there anything special coming up?
He travels out to the orc tribes every couple of weeks in order to continue to rally the tribes together. There are a couple of tribes that have been unwilling to sign up as a part of the effort that he has put in. My guess is he will probably travel there, try to rally the last remaining tribes.
Well, we don't want to do it in the middle of all those orcs. I'm just thinking if we can get him here in town with his supporters and do a proper orc fest and get his guard down and then,
I like it. More spitballing. It's better than the last one.
Yeah. Well, we still feed him the leap pies.
Yeah.
She shrugs and she says, you'd have to ask somebody here. I don't know the city that well.
I know someone.
Okay. Anything else? You have for... No.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. we have to let her go. So farewell, Sky, and I hope you see the goodness in others.
You will in no way indirectly cause our deaths. True or false?
True.
Perfect.
I have no intention to see any of you ever again.
Good.
And you are not going to talk to anyone about us having had this conversation or even that we're in town.
If I return to any of the orc tribes, having not killed the 4 of you, and if they find out that I've given you any of this information that I've given you, they will slaughter me on the spot.
Okay.
I have no interest in that.
Well, now you see the evil of your people.
She says, you say evil, I say strength. Prepare yourselves for the oncoming tide of the orc tribes. Only once in all of history have the orcs been united in such a way. And I doubt the 4 of you can stand against that kind of power.
Moradin stands behind us. I have faith.
Ha! Moradin is a weak dwarf. But allow your faith to comfort you as you're slaughtered by the oncoming tide of orcs.
Shoosh says, he's never seen the likes of us. And then I'm wearing my uniform that everybody else is wearing, and I put my fist in, signaling to everyone that we're all gonna put our fist in the same sort of Power Rangers style.
Nicholas does the same thing. He's been standing there making his guar face the whole time.
Grollo looks temporarily confused, but then reaches out with his fist.
There's an amazing pause moment, and then it cuts to the
Credit scene?
to the credit scene. It cuts to the theme for your group, for all of you, but for Sky, you're just all standing there quietly, holding your fists out.
Team tablecloth.
And actually, I think that's where we'll end it for the session.
Man, that was intense.
Yeah.
That was intense.
Yeah, I was ready to punch her again.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a role-playing scene like that was so tense like that.
Yeah, I guess this session was really almost entirely just role-playing and being in character, and there were some other options and opportunities that you guys could have made as choices, but it was cool to see so much talking in character and being in character. That's really fun.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
And you got a girlfriend.
Grollo's got a crush. He's gonna go try to talk to her because
you're not supposed to talk to her. You're supposed to be silent.
Well, he's not gonna know what to do, but he's gonna try to go get her on their side to see if they can pull something off
with the leap pies.
Well, something because Blancmere, you gotta get him distraught. Nothing better than
spicy food
running down your.
A good way to do that. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, I really have no idea what we're supposed to do at this point. It just seems so dire. This is Act 3 or something where you're just what are we gonna do?
I think if he is fully formed, then we're screwed, right? But we could do something where because if he loses respect in front of the orcs, then they might not follow him.
Yeah, it seems like they already don't like him.
Right.
They already
There's
have
a lot of dissent
this issue around him being a human who's the avatar of Groomsh. So maybe we could discredit him in some way, make him look weak.
Right.
For that,
or
you
get
might
to
need
the king
assistance
somehow.
of some of the orcs.
That's right.
What'd you say?
Well, for that, you might need the assistance of some of the orc tribes.
Maybe, what's her name?
Well, she's also a half orc, right? So, but she cooks really orcishly. So we might be able to. This is what I'm saying. We got to cook something up here.
She's becoming a main character. Is what you're saying.
She can join us.
She's gonna replace Nicholas. I can only do one. GM NPC.
We've only got one extra. So
why would the orcs want to band with us against?
Some of the orcs don't like him. Remember?
Yeah,
they don't like him. Why though?
Because he's human, and what she was saying is that some of the orcs have challenged him.
Yeah.
And so we might have a, new
they think
enemy.
Lord Blancmere is
the other thing is, you might, both of you, if you can make a convincing argument, it sounds easy, we're just going to take this town over. But what about the rest of the region? What about all the other, the dwarves are going to immediately rise up. What's going to, I guess we gotta sort of put some fear into them. Like, this plan is half baked. This is some weird human dude. Are you sure this is even groomed? Like,
Yeah. Absolutely. Sounds like a tall order.
It's gonna stretch Grollo's abilities to its thinnest because he's gonna have to use subterfuge, which is not his strength.
As well
Clearly.
Clearly,
as well as at least on some level get along with a whole bunch of orcs.
right? Which is
Grollo
gonna
has a lot of
challenge his
problems with.
feelings about it.
Yeah.
And
So-
maybe a relative will show up.
Oh, all right. So we have a lot of stuff ahead of us, but Grollo and Shoosh bonded over food.
Yeah.
That was great, and
You smashed the table.
so I smashed the table. Thrain was able to, talk very nicely about Moradin, even though in the face of hatred.
Yeah, that was
If
cool.
Moradin was watching, he would be proud of Thrain.
Oh, that's
It's
nice.
it's like you were doing him proud.
Oh, that's nice. Any final words? Any wrap up? Like, if this was a session, John's,
Yeah.
how would you evaluate our development in this group so far?
So we would, if this was a session just to wrap up the end of the group, we would do a checkout question with everybody.
Oh,
And we won't do the whole checkout questions today. We can do the first part of it. The whole checkout question is usually what is a spotlight you have for somebody else. So something that somebody else did that enhanced the game for you, improved the game for you. And then what is a thing you thought was challenging or that you learned in today's game. And then the last question is usually what is something that you're looking forward to or you're predicting for next time. But in this case, maybe it's worthwhile to do a spotlight. If you have a spotlight for somebody else that they did that really stuck out for you in today's game, that you thought was enhanced the game for you, what would that be?
Well, I really liked that. I really liked Shoosh going off and kind of getting costumes for everyone. It was like, and Grollo is not sophisticated enough to know that those costumes maybe weren't the best idea.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, this is great," and it was like independent action that he took, so it was cool.
Awesome.
I loved Grollo's character today. It's always entertaining because you're just ad-libbing, you're just improving, and the various conversations you've had, and with the half-orc woman, that was pretty hilarious.
I love that you said, well, compared to your other interactions I've seen you have, this went pretty well.
I mean, because I love stuff like that where it adds depth, to the situation, and now we're all looking. Honestly, I'm more looking forward to that than anything else at this point.
That's funny.
My spotlight goes to Kirk because Kirk, you said that role play is not something that you feel that comfortable with at some point early on in our games, and you were totally in the moment.
Yep.
Talking to this lady Sky.
That's right.
And I was worried I wasn't gonna get the zap in right on time because you were so in the moment.
Right.
That was great.
Awesome. And then the last thing we would do normally is we would put all our hands in the middle and we'd say 3, 2, 1, and then say something that stood out for us for the day. But in this case, I want to put our fists into the middle, and then we'll do the same thing. And I guess say 3, 2, 1, and then something that stood out for you today. So 3, 2, 1.
Team
Pies! What did you say?
I said team tablecloth.
Oh,
Team
yeah,
tablecloth.
Team
Tablecloth.
We said leap pies.
All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Thanks for joining us out there. You can go to our website, and you will find all the Dungeons & Dragons episodes on one page. You can also go to the GameToGrow.org website, and there's a page with all the episodes there as well, because we do them sporadically, and you can listen to them in a row. Take care of yourself, because
You deserve it.